their winning streak to 8 games by overcoming a double-digit deficit in the fourth quarter and defeating the New York Knicks 113-109 in overtime Thursday night. All right, I say we're not alone. I'm bringing in Joe Fortenbaugh and Monica McNutt. Good morning to you both.
Morning.
Busy day, a lot to address. Joe, I'm going to start with you on this. Give Stephen A. a break here. Will the Lakers win the West, or is their downfall coming?
Given the option, I'd go downfall before I'd go winning the West, because
Really?
First and foremost, you're never going to make any money buying high, and that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing peak Laker. 18-3 over the last 21 games, number 1 in defensive efficiency during that stretch. Opponents hitting their three-pointers, or I should say missing their three-pointers, at an insane rate, 31%. Over the last 5 years, the best three-point defense in the league has come nowhere close to that. 34, 34, 33 and change. This is 31%. The math is going to kick in here in the near future. And when it does, and we're going to see it Saturday night against the Celtics, when the Celtics hit their threes and cover the 6.5, the Lakers are going to start losing a few games. And then we're going to wonder whether or not, A, the team can gel the way it needs to gel by the time it gets to the playoffs so they can win 4 in 7, 3 times in a row to win the West, or if it's going to take a little bit more time. JJ Redick, we've never seen him as a coach in the playoffs. On top of that, you're going to have a very seasoned group of individuals you're going to have to face on your way there. I'll leave it at that for right now because I know McNutt is just champing at the bit to get involved here, but I'd say Lakers downfall before I'd say they win the Western Conference.
I wish this question stopped a little short of Western Conference victory. I do think this is the team that's capable of getting to the finals. Fortenbaugh, I love the numbers that you laid out, but I think being in the arena last night, having the chance to listen to these guys discuss what they're doing, how they're doing it, and the force that is LeBron James combined with Luka Doncic, I think I got to go the other way on this one. And I will admit, I am one that is hugely skeptical of this defense. But I don't know that it is as simple as just hit your threes versus the Lakers. I think that there is more room for them to figure out how to defend. I think some of the guys they have on their wings in particular are some of the better defenders in the league. And I think that they are building a culture of accountability that, to me, is going to allow them to play physical and push through. Now, I don't actually know that I believe they're coming out of the West. But even if they drop, like the next 3 games or 4 games, I believe, they're going to see that they're going to be on the road. They go to Boston, we know. They go to the Bucks. They got to go to Brooklyn in there. They got to go back to Denver, I believe. So they've got some tests coming up. But even if they drop those games, I think these offer runway to prepare for what you're going to see in the postseason. And so I just think they've got really, really brilliant basketball minds happening on that coaching staff and, of course, behind Doncic and James and the accountability that they're playing with.
I don't see a Lakers downfall coming unless you're talking about them running into Oklahoma City prematurely. I don't see that happening. I've gotten to a point where I don't believe there's anybody in the West who can take the Lakers but OKC. That's where I'm at with it. Right now, I'd give Golden State a chance as well because they're climbing the charts and the babyface assassin is who he is. But I just look at it from this standpoint. The way LeBron and Luka are flowing, there's little margin for error with opposing teams. So no matter how potent they may be offensively, so are the Lakers. But the Lakers have been a top defensive team in the NBA efficiency-wise for pretty much the last 7 weeks. And so when you look at it from that standpoint, I can't ignore that. I can't ignore what I saw them do against Denver. I can't ignore the strategy that JJ Redick and his staff imposed that worked wonders against Nikola Jokic in Denver. I'm looking at a Memphis that struggles to shoot, Eminem, Joe. I'm looking at a Houston that's too young. I'm looking at a Dallas who's no longer even in the picture because there are a whole bunch of dudes are injured. I'm looking at the Clippers, even though James Harden, turned back the clock, the Lakers have had their way with them. They've lost all 4 games to the Suns, for crying out loud. So I'm looking at all of these things right now, and I'm just saying to myself, it's going to come down to the Lakers and OKC. Now, OKC to me is a better team. They have more depth. They've got a superstar, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They've got some weapons who can put the ball in the hole offensively. The pickup of Hartenstein, obviously joined with Holmgren. and Caruso and what they do defensively has upgraded them significantly, but it's still unproven because I remember in the playoffs last year, you had a few guys for OKC that didn't show up and they left SGA hanging. They can't do that this time around. OKC should be the favorite, but they got to all come and play in order to knock off the Lakers. Otherwise, LeBron James and Luka Doncic are going to the finals.
The best case for the Lakers is the fact that they could have an extraordinary path to get to the Western Final. If it ends today, you open with Minnesota, which is a winnable series, and then you draw the winner of Houston and Memphis. Memphis, who doesn't play any defense whatsoever anymore, and Houston, who's fading big time down the stretch, although that was a nice win over New Orleans late last night when they had to put it on them in the third and fourth quarter. I wonder the push that the Lakers are making right now. This is a hard push. Star players playing 35-plus minutes routinely, getting up for every single game. All right, Saturday night is going to be a playoff game against Boston, but a lot of these other games they've been playing, they're going against teams that might not necessarily be treating it the way the Lakers are treating it. You've got 20 games to go, and then the playoffs start. I wonder if you're pushing like this right now, what's left in the tank by the time we get to mid-April?
And I think that's a fair discussion point, but I actually think last night's performance of this defense was sort of another notch in their belt, so to speak. Like, this is an offense that's been top 5. It's been powerful. Jalen Brunson was playing great. Karl Anthony Towns didn't have his best game. LeBron James did a good job on him, but you got other pieces from the Knicks that were able to do this as a collective. And so I think last night was also another opportunity to see this defense rise to the occasion. In the nature of a series, when you have big-time centers or physical teams with size, I'm with you in terms of the concern, but I think that what we're seeing is legit. And you just laid out some of the matchups that could be very favorable for the Lakers.
The one thing I also want to point to, Joe, is this, and it's a masterful job. Watching them on the basketball court last night, you marveled at some of the things you saw. They had defensive lapses last night. It wasn't their greatest moment, no question about it. But you see, although they're undersized as a front line, if you look at the first 4 positions, they have size. They've got size at both guard spots. They've got size at both forward spots because LeBron is a legit 6'9", and you're looking at Luka Doncic as a legit 6'7", and Austin Reeves is not like he's mini-me or something, only 6 feet. No, he's got some size on him. Dorian Finney-Smith, Jared Vanderbilt, all of this stuff. You're watching them, and their quickness of foot and their ability to front and double, but also race out to defend perimeter shooters, etc. They have an ability that most teams don't have. And then I bring up the issue of making sure that you don't make mistakes. You got to be very cautious. That could make you a bit tight. They will exploit everything offensively. The Lakers have that potency. So because of that, it makes you tight offensively because you know you can't afford to make mistakes and give that offense the ball. That's where I think the Lakers have the advantage.
All right, the Lakers have been on a tear, but I want to get to the other side of things. It's been a tough stretch for the Knicks. And Monica, I'm coming to you because no one's following them more closely than you are. And frame game, I see you, girl. Knicks star Jalen Brunson injured on a drive in overtime, twisting his right ankle. Monica, how much trouble is New York in?
This is huge, Molly, and I don't think I have to say that I think the organization understands that. Now, we all know in sports you don't have the opportunity to make mistakes or excuses, really. And last year during this West Coast road trip, Deuce McBride emerged. He had a terrific run over the West Coast road trip. This year you've seen Cameron Payne come in and give this team really good minutes at backup point guard as well. But there is a reason that Jalen Brunson was the second.
Tiếp theo là mình sẽ gấp lót vào nha. Tiếp theo là mình sẽ gấp vào nha.